It seems that the Epstein probe and the Epstein issue is in fact far from over. This could actually dominate American politics going forward. And to understand this, let's get in Spencer Critchley, who is a Democrat political analyst, joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Spencer, thanks so much for speaking to us on this very special edition. Let me start by asking you, the fireworks that we all saw in the House Judiciary Committee indicate that this is now the main political issue in America right now.
I think that the scandal keeps getting worse, not just because of the slow release of these files revealing more and more damning evidence, but because of the behavior of the Trump administration, which gives every indication of an aggressive cover-up. If it somehow turns out that President Trump has nothing to fear or is not protecting his friends and allies, then their behavior will be inexplicable. And Attorney General Pam Bondi's appearance before Congress was just the latest example of this. She was not behaving as the people's lawyer, which is what she is. She is the lawyer for the people of the United States. She was behaving as a political operative, aggressively trying to protect one person, her client, President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump and the administration, Pam Bondi, they've all along said that, look, we are the ones who are actually taking this forward, and we should be credited for ensuring that we are taking the path towards justice, and the Democrats are the ones who are actually holding it back or have held it back so far.
Yes, well, as is so often the case, I mean, you can almost count on it with the Trump administration. This is the exact opposite of the truth. It's not just untrue. It's the diametric opposite of the truth. The only reason that law was passed, forcing the release of the files, was because that was what was required to get the Trump administration, the Trump Justice Department, to release the files. Now, Pam Bondi claims they released them in an act of transparency. They were digging in their heels and kicking and screaming to resist, to avoid releasing those files. Now they claim they were being transparent when they finally were forced to release them by an act of Congress. An act, by the way, which would not have been required if the president were not refusing to release the files. This is something that is well within his authority as president.
Okay, and needn't have gone all the way to Congress. Okay, but you know, I'm now going to ask you a big picture question, sir, which is that the Epstein files issue is obviously far from over, especially when you look at some of the other countries. But it almost looks like a done deal as far as America is concerned. It's tragic and shameful.
It looks clear that there's a lot of extremely shady stuff that's been going on involving wealthy and powerful people across the world, as you say, for a very long time, apparently going back decades. And so there's a lot of culpability to go around here, because it's a long time ago that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted and imprisoned, with a very light sentence, mind you, for the sexual abuse of children. And yet many of these people at least remained very friendly with him for years afterwards, which itself is shocking. But that said, now that it's all coming out, other countries are far ahead of the United States so far in pursuing accountability, as we see in Britain and elsewhere. Norway, France, they're pursuing this aggressively. And I hate to say it, but I think it's because at the very least there's a more intact sense of shame, apparently, among the elites in those countries, a sense of shame that is evidently entirely missing, at least from the Trump administration and its allies here in the United States.
Right. Pam Bondi, in fact, did not look at those survivors as well. And every one of them said that they weren't able to contact the Justice Department till now. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks much, Mr. Spencer, for speaking to us on this special broadcast.